There's a particular kind of anxiety that's rampant these days. It's not the fear of physical danger or going hungry. It's more subtle, a creeping dread. It's the fear of missing out on anything. The party you weren't invited to, the show everyone's buzzing about, the breaking news, the career-defining opportunity that slipped by while you were offline. We call it FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's a constant state of high alert, a nagging feeling that real life, the life that matters, is happening somewhere else, and you're watching it all from the sidelines. And to combat this fear, we do what seems logical. We try to be everywhere at once. We open more tabs, follow more people, say yes to every invite, scroll the feed just a little bit longer to make sure we don't miss a thing. But here's the rub, the paradox I want to unpack today. If the goal is to feel more connected and included, why does this relentless pursuit leave us so drained, so anxious, and ironically, so alone? Why, by trying to absorb everything, do we end up savoring nothing? What if the cure for FOMO isn't trying to be more in, but rather embracing the decision to opt out and actually enjoying it? To understand this tug of war, let's put a name and a face on these two forces battling for our attention. In this corner, we have the guardian of the infinite, and in the other corner, the curator of the essential. The guardian of the infinite is the voice of FOMO. His prime directive is security through omnipresence. He believes that to avoid missing out, you need access to all the information, all the conversations, all the possibilities, all the time. He operates based on the question, what if the most important thing in the world happens, and I'm not there to see it? His greatest fear is regret, the feeling of having made the wrong choice by being out of the loop. For him, every no is a door slammed shut forever. On the other side, we have the curator of the essential, the voice of JOMO, the joy of missing out. His philosophy is the polar opposite. Strength and happiness come from deliberate choice, not from accumulating options. His primary motivation is depth and intention. He believes that your attention is your most valuable and limited resource, and that to live a meaningful life, you need to invest it only in what truly matters. His guiding question is, does this matter to me right now? His greatest fear isn't missing an opportunity, but rather wasting his one precious life on things that don't count. What makes this conflict so intense is that they both seem to have your best interests at heart. The guardian wants to protect you from regret. The curator wants to protect you from superficiality. It's a battle between infinite expansion and finite depth. But where does this battle even come from? Why has the guardian of the infinite become so powerful in our culture? The answer to the guardian of the infinite's power lies in a combination of ancient hardware and modern software. Our hardware is the human brain, an organ that evolved over millions of years with one overriding priority: social survival. For our ancestors, being left out of the group wasn't just a bummer, it was a death sentence. Being excluded meant losing access to food, protection from predators, and opportunities to reproduce. Our brains therefore developed an extremely sensitive alarm for social exclusion. FOMO, at its core, is the echo of that ancient alarm. The problem is that this ancient hardware is now running software it wasn't designed for: the ecosystem of social media and constant connectivity. Modern technology has created the perfect storm for our fear of missing out. It's given us an endless window into everyone else's lives, 24/7. Every feed we scroll is an avalanche of events, achievements, and happy moments that we're not participating in. Even worse, these platforms are designed to be addictive, exploiting our dopamine system with variable rewards, just like a slot machine. You never know when you're going to find an interesting post, an important message, or social validation in the form of a like. And that uncertainty keeps you pulling the lever, refreshing the feed, afraid of missing the next payoff. Your social exclusion alarm, which used to be helpful, is now constantly being triggered, not by real threats, but by artificial stimuli. If your brain is hardwired for FOMO and modern technology ruthlessly exploits it, then the battle seems lost, right? Wrong. The solution to this conflict isn't a total war, where you try to annihilate your fear of missing out. That would be exhausting and pointless. The solution is a smart truce. It's a synthesis where the curator of the essential doesn't defeat the guardian of the infinite, but teaches him a new way to work. The liberating synthesis is the understanding that true freedom doesn't come from having access to every option, but from the power to deliberately choose which options to ignore. It's the shift from a scarcity mindset, I'm afraid of missing something, to an abundance mindset. I'm happy and satisfied with what I've chosen to focus on right now. This means that instead of fighting the guardian's desire for opportunities, you re-educate him. You teach him that every yes you say to an invitation, a notification, a new show, is actually a no to something else. A no to an hour of sleep, a no to a deep conversation with your partner, a no to time for your hobby, a no to silence. JOMO, the joy of missing out, isn't about becoming a hermit. It's about choosing your no's with intention, so that your yeses are more powerful and meaningful. It's the joy of finishing a book instead of starting 5. It's the joy of having a real conversation with a friend instead of seeing 100 stories from acquaintances. It's the joy of being present in your own life instead of being an anxious spectator in the lives of others. The theory is liberating, but how do you start practicing JOMO in a world that's constantly pulling you towards FOMO? You need a practical exercise, a little training ground for your attention. I call it the intentional no ritual. It's very simple. Once a week, maybe on the weekend or on a quieter day, you're going to deliberately choose one thing to miss out on. This isn't about isolating yourself from the world, it's about choosing a single source of noise and consciously turning it off. It could be not opening Instagram for 24 hours. It could be completely ignoring the news about a certain topic that's making you anxious. It could be muting that WhatsApp group that never stops. Your task during this period isn't just avoidance, it's observation. Observe the initial restlessness, the urge of your guardian of the infinite to ask, what if I'm missing something? Observe that urge, acknowledge it, and then gently bring your attention back to what's in front of you. Observe the mental space that opens up. Observe the calm that starts to emerge when you're not being bombarded with irrelevant information. This small ritual is a workout. Each time you do it, you're proving to yourself that the world doesn't end when you unplug. You're showing your brain that the joy of being present in your own life is much more rewarding than the anxiety of being a spectator in the lives of others. You're actively practicing the joy of missing out. The journey to finding the joy of missing out is a reconfiguration of our relationship with technology, and more importantly, with our own attention. And if you want a complete operations manual for this new way of living, I have a book recommendation that's absolutely essential. The book is called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. If our conversation today was the diagnosis of the problem, Newport's book is the detailed treatment plan. He offers a philosophy and practical strategies for using technology intentionally, to your advantage, instead of letting it use you. It's the ultimate guide for anyone who wants to build a life focused on the real world, not the digital one. And because this journey is easier when shared, I'd love for our conversation to continue in the comments. The question I'm leaving for our community is, what's the intentional no you're going to practice this week? What source of noise are you going to choose to miss out on to find a little more peace? Reading your strategies and challenges is what enriches this space. If you value these explorations of the human mind, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you want to directly support the production of more videos like this, think about becoming a member. And of course, our final reminder. This is an exploration of focus and well-being. If anxiety and feeling overwhelmed are constant and severe, please consider seeking the help of a qualified professional. Taking care of your attention is taking care of your health. Thanks for joining me. In a world that's fighting for your attention, your presence is the most valuable thing you can cultivate.